From the heart of Alley, do it.
Broadway here in historic downtown Cape Girardeau.
It's
Mr. 100 and the 5-Star Man. I forgot what show it was for a second.
Welcome to my world. Every Thursday I pause and they all laugh, and it's like, no, we do so many shows. It is Mr. 100 and the 5-Star Man here on the 5-Star Network.
That's right. I am taking over
the Podzilla 1985 network. My name is Shannon Young.
now.
I'm Mr. 100. Down at the end of the table is someone who hopefully knows a hell of more about what we're doing than me. Asa Gray, the 5-Star Man.
I don't.
And then, of course, that was Ali Abear there at the beginning of the show.
Hello.
The producer. Once again in a producer role.
Hi.
Producing mass amounts of sass.
As always.
We got some flood walls open now.
Yeah, I saw you post about that.
Yeah, because, boy, that was the most Cape Girardeau thing, and I know we don't do a lot of local stuff.
Right.
But, like, so our city's on a river, the Mississippi River, the mighty Mississippi River. And because
Shout out.
we have been underwater for the last month,
Yes.
the
We were living
flood
under the
walls
sea.
have been closed, because usually you can walk down by the waterfront, but now they have that walled off because the river was so high.
Right.
And so the local news station did a live video, I guess, from their tower or
Yes.
like a drone or something.
Yeah, their tower.
They did a live Facebook video showing them like opening the flood wall, which was super uneventful. It was like 6 city workers standing in front of this wall
pushing
trying to figure out how to unjam it.
Because there's so much mud.
Yeah,
around
everything
it.
was like caked on at the bottom. But so like there was at times like between like 400 to 600 people watching at any given point. And it felt like every 30 seconds, some yokel is posting, wait, why are they opening it? Isn't the river going to come through? Is the water even low enough for them to open it? And it's like, nope, they didn't check.
These people don't know what they're doing. They
The city
just
of
took a
Cape
shot.
has decided
Just
they're
their
going to
job.
flood downtown. But you caught them. Oh, what? Oh, my. It made me irrational.
Our new mayor, Ra's al Ghul, is really creating some things. Speaking of Cape Girardeau, we watched the Honest trailer for Gone Girl the other day. I've never actually seen the movie.
I haven't either.
I've heard it's really good. But there were all these parts where I was going like, oh, I know there. I know there. Oh, I know that place. And I felt like
Yes.
a total local
That's
But-
the main reason most people around here saw that movie.
was just to
Oh,
see
that-
their own.
That was the only reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Affleck,
Did you? But
Rosamund Pike, Tyler Perry.
did you go and make an IMDb page strictly for yourself because you might have been an extra?
I did not.
A lot of people did that.
No, I did audition for it
Wow.
though. Did I ever tell you I auditioned for Gone Girl? Yeah. It was at me and Lindsay. I think it was me, Lindsay, and Jesse. We all went to the mall. I think Jesse was there with us. I may be wrong on that, but I know Lindsay and I definitely. We went to the mall and auditioned for it during one of our lunch breaks, and like I walked in and I saw all these relatively normal sized people, and then here comes Big Chungus walking in, and I'm like, what role are they going to give me? Like,
So I genuinely thought, like,
I did not get the role.
I genuinely thought you were going to lead into, yeah, I went out for it, but it ended up going to this guy Ben Affleck. Like they went with Neil Patrick Harris instead.
I would never make fun of Ben Affleck for that movie because I felt so sorry for him. He looked so miserable just being here, kind of. And Allie missed out on an opportunity to
did.
meet the man.
They were filming the movie when I was working at Andy's. And the night I had to have off because I have a marching band event in Jackson, I stopped by after on my way home, and one of the managers was like, "You missed Ben." And I was like, "Ben who? What are you talking about?" She was like, "Ben Affleck," and showed me a picture. And I was like, "Are you serious? I normally work these nights."
This was your chance to marry Ben Affleck, and you missed
that was
it.
gonna happen. But
He would have seen you and been like, "Who's that girl?"
Who is that high school girl? I must have her.
But he went there, and then like a whole bunch of the crew people went there, and because of the impression Andy's left on them, they ended up taking a picture and using it in the movie as like whenever the detective is like throws a whole bunch of pictures down, there's a picture of her standing in front of Andy's.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Andy's reminds me of when we worked with Hangman Page at CCW, and he's
Like,
in the
what's
ring.
a local?
What's a good ice cream place around here? And I was like, Andy's. We're gonna go down to Andy's.
I remember in high school, I don't think it was for Gone Girl, I don't remember why he was in town, but Johnny Knoxville was filming something.
It was a movie. I'm pretty sure the movie was called Kill Shot.
Yeah, with Justin Timberlake. I think he was also in it. Look it up. Google that for me. I remember getting a text message in high school. Like me and a couple of guys were just hanging out after class or something. It's like, oh no, we went to White Castle, and so we were eating, and someone gets a text message like, "Hey, Johnny Knoxville's at McDonald's by Walmart." Like, and so everyone was just like, and I was like, I'm not going to that. I don't want to go and like crowd a man while he's eating.
There were
even if it like
Facebook pages that people would announce were like Ben Affleck and Neil Patrick Harris.
Didn't Neil Patrick Harris get his like wallet stolen at the gym or something like that?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was called Kill Shot. It was Thomas Jane, Mickey Rourke, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There's a bunch of big people in that, but they filmed it locally. My friend Holly,
they filmed part of it locally. And I even think
I'm pretty sure that those parts were cut from the film.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
But they, my friend, ex-girlfriend Holly, she got to meet Johnny Knoxville and she messaged me about it, and I was like, and I didn't like Johnny Knoxville at the time, so I was like, cool, I guess.
Neat.
Yeah. Not as cool as when I'll never forget this. The movie, I think I've mentioned on the show before, U.S. Marshals, the sequel to The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. They filmed part of it just north of where I lived in Southern Illinois. And there's a part in the movie where Tommy Lee Jones is directing traffic. And by the way, again, my favorite part of that is that all of the locals from that area were just the most inbred hicks. They're all wearing coveralls. They're spitting, chewing tobacco. That's how they viewed us.
Right.
But he says, I want a guard from here to Carroll to Mound City. And I was like, yeah, that's me, baby. Mound City on the map.
They said where the thing I'm from.
They said where I'm from. But, kudos to him for knowing what the hell a Mound City was.
I'm assuming neither of you actually read the book, Gone Girl.
Gone Girl?
No.
I didn't even know it existed until the movie came out.
I mean, I didn't either, but the way they describe the town in that book is not complimentary.
Well, was it actually set in Cape Girardeau in the book, or just the book itself, the town that was set, that they thought Cape Girardeau reminded them of that town?
Yes, it was, because it was a town on a river.
Yeah.
But it was like a small town, which was actually, it was supposed to be smaller than Cape. It was supposed to be like a small town.
But they could film around that.
Most people, but they don't want to actually film in a small town like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised they filmed in Cape Girardeau. Like, that was just really, really strange.
The bar that they built for the movie closed, and now they're trying to reopen it.
The bar?
Yes.
Yeah, the bar in Cape is terrible. One of my friends from Red Lobster left Red Lobster to go be a manager there, and he was only there for like a couple months.
I've never been to it.
Immediately left because it was so horrendous.
Yeah, and then it closed, and now they're trying to reopen it. I read somewhere.
Never been to the bar.
They also Cape Girardeau is also in an episode of Supernatural.
It was,
and it is also one that does not paint.
It's just a road.
Yeah, the only road in and out of town.
Yeah.
The mayor once closed, and also it's
because there's a racist truck.
It's the racist truck driver that.
Also, there's a lot of like fishing and dock areas.
Yeah, because it's a big fishing town.
We're a big fishing town. Mm-hmm. We were also in a comic for Magneto.
Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, they misspelled it, but cool. Also, again, reading that part in Magneto, I have no idea where he was talking about, because it sure as hell wasn't any place that I knew.
It looked like an Old West. Yeah. Like just one strip mall in the middle of nowhere. Because I remember seeing that issue at Hastings and thinking like, oh yeah, this is the one that mentions like, because that was a story around here.
Yes, of course.
And he's like, oh cool, like there's an issue of Magneto that like Magneto #1.
It was #1. I think. Yeah.
So I was reading through it, and like the first page is Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and I was like, okay.
And I think that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well. he killed a dude pretty graphically, I think, and then
and then that dude came back as a haunted truck who was then trying to kill black people
because he was racist, and they stuck up for themselves and killed him, and now they disturbed the land.
What
his truck is coming back.
That was a bad episode of Supernatural.
It wasn't great.
It was not a good one.
Was there an episode of Criminal Minds? No,
I don't.
In Cape Girardeau,
I know they did one in St. Louis, because that was the one where they were hunting. It ended up being two separate killers that were like sending messages to each other through the paper. Spoiler alert for
for a random
that episode of Criminal Minds.
For one that was probably in a season that was probably 10 years ago at this point.
Oh yeah, it was like in the first.
They.
I think that was either the first. Oh, I'm blanking on his name, but Fat Tony.
Oh hell.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Wow. Blanked on that one.
Yeah,
Love
his
him.
it was either in his like first season or it still was Mandy Patinkin, who I'm still a little bitter at leaving.
They also they wrote part of the book for American Gods in Cairo, Illinois, which was really close to where I was from too. So yeah, we're up there. we're part of history.
American Gods is fantastic.
I've never watched it.
I don't
read the
I
books.
haven't seen it, but the book is amazing.
Bob loves it. He swears by it. He's watched the series too, and the series looks fun. A lot of my favorite actors in there. Orlando Jones is in it. I'm a big Orlando Jones fan. I've always wondered why he didn't get more work because I always thought he was really good.
What are you talking about? He starred in the hit movie Evolution.
I like that movie quite a bit. I also had David Duchovny. Thank you. Who's been in other things other than X-Files, like Californication. The sex was so real on that show. That dude had to go to sex rehab. It's one of my favorite SNL jokes. They have Bill Clinton on Weekend Update, and he's talking about Californication. He's like, the sex on that show is so real. That dude went to sex rehab.
Oh, Clinton. You're probably going to jail.
I miss it. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to lock his wife up.
Oh, God.
That's been a long time coming. Over the weekend, there was San Diego Comic-Con. A lot of cool stuff came out of that. I want to touch on a couple things real quick. Did you watch any of the Conan clips from that? Because we watched quite a few of them. They were really fun.
So
Conan's... I love, by the way, that... I don't know. You're not a big Conan fan, are you? Conan?
No, I like Conan the Barbarian or Conan O'Brien?
O'Brien.
Okay, yeah. No, I love
Same
Conan
guy.
O'Brien. Since not having cable, I only catch like some of what's on YouTube.
Yeah. The
But
clips.
I did recently go down a rabbit hole of whatever. Shut up.
You should be more scientific. You did
All
that
of
for
you are
Calvin.
stupid. Everyone's stupid but me. I did go down one because did you see the episode that Kumail Nanjiani was
bailed
supposed to be
on?
on? He didn't bail on. He just didn't make it.
Yeah. He sent him a video, didn't he?
He sent him a video on set of Thomas Middleton or Middleditch. Middleditch. Of him because he apparently like kept screwing up a scene and they would not release him from set of Silicon Valley. Because maybe that was just the joke that they used because he was in the video too of like, hey, I keep messing up my lines. I can't. Sorry, Kumail can't make it. But they didn't find out until like 30 minutes before the episode was supposed to start.
Yep.
And since they've changed their format, they only do one guest.
Yep.
So it's not like they could just bump whoever was second up to first and like extend that and cover. So they ended up having, if you haven't seen it, it's amazing.
It is.
You should go out of your way and check it out on YouTube because like the monologue of him explaining to the audience what's going on is incredible. They end up interviewing his assistant.
Yep.
Who has been on the show multiple times before because she's worked with him for like over a decade at this point. Which that led me to the episode or the skit of she's trying to find a new car. She wants to buy a new car. And so he's like, all right, well, let's see your car. And he's like literally breaking stuff like her sunglass visor, like the holder that like is at the top of some cars. Like it won't stay shut. So it just hangs down. And it's like, oh, I actually know how to fix this. And he just rips it out.
Wow.
And it's like, it's amazing.
I go down the rabbit hole of watching, like, especially when Robert Irwin goes on Conan.
Is he the chef?
Well, no, he's Steve Irwin's son.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
He doesn't go on Conan. There's another guy that goes on Conan, but he goes on Fallon a lot.
Ugh.
But
Sorry.
watching the different late night hosts react to these animals, Conan wants to take every single one home. He's like, so I'm keeping this, right? He's like rubbing his face on it.
Yeah,
Kimmel is terrified of animals. Jimmy Fallon's like in the middle. But just watching, I get to see a bunch of cute animals.
See, my preference was always David Letterman because he would just mock the animals as he did everything that he didn't understand.
I was thinking of Robert Irvine, Gail Kim's husband.
He's the chef?
Yeah, he's a chef.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But so he, the only thing from Comic-Con that I saw of Conan was
Full circle.
him
Yes.
talking about how there's no security in the theater, and the lady had the box of Conan cereal. And he's like, bring that up here. Pass that up here. And then she like throws it at him. He's like, don't throw. Why are people throwing things at me? And then it comes up like they ask him to sign it or something. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I will sign it on break. And so someone like throws a pen at him. And he's like, quit throwing things. And then the crowd like almost turns on him because he like makes it seem like he's not going to sign it. And he's like, okay, nope, all right. And then he like walks down and hands it to her. It's good. But he's somehow like, I see people walking, like Kumail's walking through. He's got 6 armed guards with him at all times. I am up here in front of 1,000 people, and I think we're the only ones here.
Conan is a master manipulator when it comes to the crowd, and that's why I love him so much. He did a great thing with Kristen Shaw, where she became his arch nemesis, his superhero character. So they were like designing her outfit and stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I know why. That story reminds me of an incident that happened to me in college, and there's a tape out there somewhere of it, where we had to give speeches and they recorded, and I go up there and I forgot my pen. So I'm standing up in front of the class, and one of my friends was back there, and I was like, "Hey, can you bring me a pen?" And you just see on the video the pen stab me in the chest because she just launches it at me. Still better though than when I worked at Stephen Barry's, when I asked a guy to give me a what do they call the
box
cutter, and he throws me a box cutter blade out. And I caught it.
My God.
He got in a lot of trouble that day because I didn't know the blade was out, and I just like grabbed it, and I grabbed it perfectly, thank God, because that blade was out like this much.
Oh my God.
That was a mistake. He wasn't that smart. Anyway, so I mentioned on the pre-show that there were some TV shows coming out this year, and we saw more of them at Comic-Con, and I'm so excited about it. I wanted to just mention them and my love for them, and to see if there's any interest amongst the crowd for them. First off is probably, I'm having a hard time deciding which one I'm more excited about. Allie, which show do you think I'm most excited about that's coming out this year, later this year, that we watched trailers for?
Are you going to give me a list?
Nope. You just
Please
gotta pick.
give me a list, because
No.
I don't know what
Just
is...
The only one that I can think of that isn't going to Disney Plus is Watchmen, because that got a trailer. But I don't know if it was through Comic-Con or not.
see, I don't know if these are through
the thing
Comic-Con
is, I don't
either.
know if it's through Comic-Con.
But they came out the same week as Comic-Con, so I don't know if that's because it's part of it, or if they're just like, hey, it's Comic-Con week, let's put this stuff out because it's going to get buzz. One of them, and they had a panel at Comic-Con, so this one definitely was at Comic-Con, is Star Trek Picard.
Oh, yeah,
I can't tell you how excited I am to watch this.
Did that get a trailer?
It's had 2 trailers that I know of, and the one they showed recently had characters that were in the Next Generation. Like Data was in it, I know for sure. Someone said Riker was in it, and I did not see Riker.
I don't think Riker is in the trailer. I think
he is.
But there was an announcement because like someone either said on the panel or tweeted or something that they were going to film an episode like yesterday.
Yeah.
That starred Riker.
Yeah.
And he then retweeted that like announcement or something like this
Cat's
has
out
been
of the bag.
this has been the hardest secret to keep. But yeah,
Plus,
it's
he's
true.
directing some episodes.
It isn't-
Jonathan Frakes is a like well-regarded like director and stuff now. He's very, very cool.
Isn't like Jerry Ryan?
Jerry Ryan of 7 of 9 is in it. She was in the trailer, which was surprising to me because I don't.
Because she was not Enterprise, wasn't she?
She was not in the Next Generation.
Next
she was
Generation,
in
yeah.
Deep Space Nine, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Deep Space Nine.
Okay,
it
so
may have been the one after Deep Space Nine.
This is a huge, just glaring
Not the
omission
Next
in my
Generation.
nerd.
Star Trek.
Yeah, I have not seen. I think I might have maybe seen like 3 full episodes of Star Trek.
I liked the first series of Star Trek. I always thought was fun, but the Next Generation, I watched it religiously. Like every week it was on. I had the toys. I would sit out there and play with it, and Riker was always my favorite character. So when they announced Picard, I was super excited because I love Patrick Stewart, and I thought Picard. I'm that guy that thinks Picard is the best captain.
Right.
You know, there's that argument among Star Trek fans of who's the best captain. It's Picard. Like by far, it's Picard. Don't at me, anyone that's listening.
This is not a discussion.
This is not a discussion. It's just law.
This is the one time we don't want to hear from you.
But Riker was always my favorite character. So the fact that he's going to be back in this new series, and just that they're continuing the Next Generation, not necessarily the storyline, but the characters, you know, Data and Picard and all these guys. Like, I love those characters. So I'm so excited to watch it. It is, of course, on CBS All Access, just like The Twilight Zone, which I still haven't watched
Yeah,
because
we
it's on
don't
CBS
have it.
All Access. and Star Trek Discovery, which I also want to watch, and it's also on All Access. So I guess I'm just going to have to get All Access and watch these damn shows because I've heard Twilight Zone is amazing.
I really enjoyed the
wanna
first episode
With
Kumail Nanjiani.
first full circle.
Did you see that they named the dog
In
Picard?
yeah, it's oh hell.
It's number 1.
Doesn't surprise me.
That's what the dog tag says. Apparently, like someone got a shot of it or something.
Wow.
I love that.
Which I will watch. I won't know anything about it, but I will watch an episode if it has Riker and the dog, and Picard says something like "Come number 1," and they both just like walk up. It's like, oh, this is awkward.
I'm excited for that. So I'm super excited for that show, even though it's not really I don't know if it's really a Star Trek show because they're not on the Enterprise. There's no Starfleet as far as I can tell. It's more intimate.
All of the things that I've seen promoting it make it look like he's Thanos after he won.
Yeah, to me it's
Like he's just making soup in his kitchen, like he's got a little farm going.
This is Star Trek Logan. You know, it's the after years where
Old Man Picard.
This is Star Trek they just followed Patrick Stewart around his house.
That's what I thought it was, and I was on board with that. I was legitimately okay with seeing Star Trek the after years. But then in the new trailers, they're showing him getting on this new ship, and he's apparently with this new crew and stuff. So apparently it doesn't always stay at his vineyard. It does go out eventually. But I'm so excited to watch it. And then the other show, and the one I thought Allie was going to say.
Creep Show?
Creep Show.
That's the one that I was thinking.
Anyone that knows me, if you know me really well, if you know me, you know that I love horror movies. That's my favorite movies. Horror films are my jam. If you really know me, you know one of my favorite horror movies is Creep Show, which was George Romero and Stephen King, and it was. Have you ever seen Creep Show?
No.
It's so good. It's such a classic. It's one of those. It's I think 4 or 5 horror tales, and it's based on these old comics, the same comics that Tales from the Crypt were based on, which is very, very cool. Vault of Horror, the old EC comic stuff.
I genuinely thought that Tales from the Crypt comics, like I thought that was just the comic was Tales from the Crypt.
God, it's such a big history with this. There were.
Allie is looking at me like, "What have you done? You have no idea the can of worms you have just opened."
There was a Tales from the Crypt comic, if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I've read up on this. So,
but it spun out of this like.
Yeah, so there was EC Comics, and they had different sets of stories, and there was the Vault of Horror. Tales from the Crypt and the Haunt of Fear. There are 3 different ones. Now, ironically, or not ironically, I don't know why I said that word. Strangely enough, the Tales from the Crypt episodes were based on the Vault of Horror comics. They weren't based on Tales from the Crypt comics, which is just odd and makes you wonder why. Creep Show was based on these same things. So
Maybe
now
they were better.
What? The Vault of Horror?
Yeah.
I've actually read some of them. They were pretty good. Especially for like the 50s. The shit they got away with in those comics.
Okay. So
brutal.
what about the Tales from the Crypt ones? Were they
I've
as
never
good?
read Tales from the Crypt.
Maybe they were better.
I told you about the thing we found at ICC, right?
Maybe.
There was like a leather-bound collection of like all of the Tales from the Crypt
I think
comics.
you did, yeah. It wasn't like super
It was
expensive.
like $250 or something because I was like, this would be amazing for Shannon.
Oh yeah,
And I
would love
was going to get it until because it was one of those things you had to ask the guy how much it was because it didn't have a price tag on it.
And he told you there was no such thing
Because
as Tales from the Crypt.
like if it would have been like, because I hadn't really bought anything for myself because that's not what I go to those conventions for. But like if it had been like $60-$80, I probably could have convinced like Dalton and Jesse and been like, hey,
put in on it.
Put in on this because it's something Shannon would really like. I'm sure they would have, but yeah, it was like $250, and I was like,
no, I don't expect that.
I can't do that.
I don't expect that.
I can't do that.
But they put a trailer out for there is a 13 episode run of Creep Show coming to Shudder in September, and they put a trailer out for it, and it looked amazing.
Is Shudder the like horror Netflix?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which I really need to resubscribe to because whenever my credit card info got stolen or whatever, I basically canceled everything that was attached to that card, and I just never resubscribed. It's like $5 a month.
Yeah.
It's a great deal. But I am so excited for Creep Show and Picard. I can't believe I want to watch TV this badly.
Have you seen? Did you see the trailer for the new trailer for Watchmen?
I watched a non-audio version of it. I forget what I was doing, so I saw the video, but I didn't because Jeremy Irons is in it, isn't he? Is he Ozymandias in this?
So, well, that's the thing is, it's like there's a newspaper headline that says like Ozymandias or Voight is dead. But there's an older man who me and Jesse assumed was Ozymandias.
I'm assuming that's probably Jeremy Irons.
But I don't know if it's Jeremy Irons or not.
Was it like at a birthday party kind of or something?
No, he's like in a mansion.
That may be what I'm thinking.
It has Don Johnson. He's in it.
Shit, Don Johnson's in it?
Yeah.
I like that.
But so the original trailer was just a lot of really cool visuals and a bunch of people wearing Rorschach-style masks, and it culminates in them screaming tick tock, like progressively. Like it starts kind of slow and then it progresses faster and faster and faster. But then this trailer, it looks like, and we talked about it a little bit on Nerd Up, so I won't go as deep into it, but it looks like there was the group of Rorschach mask people executed a really widespread, really terrible attack on police officers in their homes. Like midnight struck and all of a sudden people are bursting into these like cops' houses and murdering them and their families. So now the police and like the federal agents and people have to wear masks and hide their identities. But then you have all of these problems with like accountability, and there's a line, he's like, what's the difference between a vigilante and a Fed wearing a mask? Nothing. So it looks like now that we actually have somewhat the story beat could be, it looks really interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking through the characters on the show, and like I only recognized a few names
because
it's
well after there is a Dr. Manhattan tease.
Yeah,
like he's on, like it's pretty well established or maybe rumored that he's on Mars because he is just completely like effed off, like he doesn't care about Earth and humans anymore.
So according to Wikipedia, it says that I guess one of the producers or directors, the creator, said the show is not a direct adaptation of the original source material. It's a remix aiming to tell an entirely new story set in the world where the events of the original storyline took place. So it's not, it's like a reboot kind of ish.
Yeah, it's like an alternate future for what could have happened after, the events of the graphic novel and the movie.
Which Jeremy Irons is Ozymandias.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is him confirmed.
Yeah.
I need to tell Jesse that. But that looks really cool. I am excited to get someone's HBO info. But then that also means I can finally finish out Silicon Valley.
I might be able to help you with that. Bob's got HBO Go, so we might be able to do some. And I didn't know that was coming out this year. That's this year.
I can find out. I think it is, but I'm not.
I would also like to watch that show because Watchmen is one of my favorite superhero movies. I appreciate it more every time I watch it. I really do.
I want to go back and rewatch it.
So, I like it so much more than the comic because I watched the movie and then I went out and bought the comic because I've always heard how great it was. And the guy that wrote it was Alan Moore, right? If I remember correctly.
Oh.
Because I always get Alan Moore and one other guy mixed up.
I also, because and I'm blanking on
Greg.
That's not who. I don't think that's
not Greg. The guy that wrote Sin City.
Frank Miller.
I get them mixed up a lot. Okay, it's definitely not Frank Miller. Frank Miller's cool. Alan Moore's the.
And I think he's the one that he just announced his retirement.
Alan Moore is a dick.
Yeah, and it was Alan Moore.
Okay, that dude is a total dick who hates every single adaptation that's ever been made of his work, but has never watched a second of it.
He also, because he was the one that got really upset with Marvel and Netflix when Elektra was going to be added to Daredevil, because he thinks that is that him or is that someone else?
That's Frank Miller, I think.
Because there was someone that was getting like,
or maybe it wasn't Frank Miller.
Who invented?
I know Alan Moore is the guy that he said that superheroes are for kids. He said they're not for adults, and he hates that adults.
So that was Frank Miller. That was Frank Miller, because he was upset that Daredevil was going to use her, and it's like you made it like under Marvel, like you don't really own that character anymore.
Right?
You can't get away with that.
Now, to be fair, they didn't do a great job with her. She was okay. I thought she was okay.
She was better than any other version of Elektra we've gotten outside of the comics and some of the comics.
I still have a soft spot for Jennifer Garner in the Daredevil movie. Not in the Elektra movie. That movie was terrible on all levels. But in the Daredevil film, I thought Jennifer Garner was cool as Elektra, even though it didn't make much sense that you just have the super rich girl who all of a sudden is a super ninja too. Whatever. Anyway, Watchmen, excited about. I love that movie, and I hope the show's as good. I'm glad that Rorschach's not in it. Never liked him.
HBO
will miss the comedian though.
It will make its debut this fall, so we don't have an exact date, but it will be this year.
So 3 shows now I want to watch.
I'm trying to think of because there were things from Comic-Con that got announced that I was super excited for, and then they were all just like entirely overshadowed by the Phase 4 announcement stuff.
Which I
Like,
guess
that was
I'm
just-
the only one in the world that's not super excited about this Phase 4 thing. Like, I want to see him, but I am not. The one that excited me the most out of that whole announcement probably was Blade.
Which that is amazing. Mahershala Ali is fantastic.
He's an amazing actor.
But like,
and Blade
that's
is
going to
a
be like
cool
Phase
character.
5. Like, that's not even going to be in Phase 4.
And how far away is Phase 5?
Like 5 years probably.
Damn it.
Well, no, that can't. No, because they were talking about like probably like 2022, 2023.
I'll be 40
So,
when Blade comes
4?
out. Oh.
Because everything that we've gotten so far has been like 2020, 2021 dates.
Yeah.
But it's also unclear, like, because they mentioned Guardians 3, they mentioned Black Panther
Four.
2, Fantastic Four, Mutants. So
Yeah,
those
he
may
literally said there's no time to talk about the X-Men. That was what he said. He's like,
not.
we're out of
It
time.
was like we can't talk about. Well, he was running through the whole list of things
Yeah.
that they didn't talk about, which was all of that. We can't talk about mutants and stuff like that.
Better put Jubilee in those fucking movies. That's all I'm saying.
So it was super cool. Like, the thing that I am most excited about genuinely is the Hawkeye Kate Bishop stuff, because I love Kate Bishop as a character. She's awesome.
Jeremy Renner made Hawkeye cool.
Hawkeye has always been cool. They gave Hawkeye the respect that he deserved in casting Jeremy Renner.
Okay.
Sir.
Love Jeremy Renner.
I also highly recommend anyone check out Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run from 2012. We talked about it last night as well, but it is some of the best writing. It is amazing. I love it very much. It's a great version of Kate Bishop as well. And judging by the art that they used in the announced trailer,
yeah.
it could be leaning very heavily on that run.
I'm also excited about they're bringing Natalie Portman back to Thor. I love that because I'm a huge Natalie Portman fan, and she's actually going to become Thor, Jane Foster,
the Mighty Thor.
Yeah, so she's going to be the new Thor.
Which it's going to be real interesting to see how because like I mentioned it last night too, like because that Jason Aaron run was amazing. Like, that's one of the things that has really almost turned me from being like DC first, Marvel second, to like I am questioning those allegiances more than I ever have before. But that was an amazing run. But it was a very heavy, like the reason that she was Thor is very like dark.
Yeah,
and there's a reason, and so I'm wondering if they're even going to.
They're gonna touch that.
Well, I'm curious if they are going to make Odin's son unworthy, because that's what happened. He lost the ability to wield Mjolnir entirely, and Mjolnir chose who it turns out to be Jane Foster, who you, like the first several issues of that run, you don't know who it is until it's revealed. And like Jane Foster is going through things that I don't see Taika Waititi doing or doing well, because I am the only person on the planet who didn't super love Thor Ragnarok.
You know what? I really want to go watch the first two Thor films again.
And just real quick, they also mentioned, because one of the things that I speculated last night was, maybe they're going to do a thing where like, okay, Odin's son is out with the Guardians, and he leaves Mjolnir behind.
Yeah.
Because he has Stormbreaker. He saw Cap.
He's getting adventures.
Yeah, and so he doesn't, like, he leaves Mjolnir, and Mjolnir then goes and chooses someone else, and it's like, I remember this person.
Yeah. Odd that it would choose Jane Foster of all the people.
Yeah, I don't...
In the movie continuity.
Yeah, of like, this is someone that, is actually worthy, but Jane Foster in the first two movies was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Either way, but it turns out that Guardians 3 will be after this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, Guardians 3. So
yes.
that was announced, like Kevin Feige did an interview sometime very recent, like between yesterday and today, or at least we only just saw it.
I'm really interested in the new, I think it's called, what was it, Captain America, License to Print Money, where they're just...
I don't know what
anything Marvel does, basically, is just $1 billion at this point. And they're going to test that theory, because one of the movies they have coming out is a character, I have no idea who it is.
Both of the movies that they announced, I'm like, I don't know who this is.
And I'm going to get the name wrong. Was it Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm. I'll watch it, because it almost seems like every time Marvel puts out a movie based on a lesser known character, it does amazing. Mm-hmm. Guardians of the Galaxy was this blockbuster runaway hit.
See, but part of it too was because of, you have to give credit where it's due. James Gunn and the cast
Yeah.
truly took those characters to another level.
Knocked it out of the park.
That could have been abysmal.
Yeah, well,
But like they had,
let's see what
they
happens with
caught
Suicide
lightning in the
Squad.
bottle.
let's see what happens with Suicide Squad.
James Gunn's good.
I hope he makes it better.
But it's also a thing of, okay, is James Gunn going to be able to like be James Gunn, or is it going to be Warner Brothers sticking their grubby fingers in that project and like, oh, no, see, this is what we're going for. It's like we spent a lot of time on the pre-show yesterday, I think, talking about Bar Rescue. And it's like those shows like Bar Rescue and Kitchen Nightmare.
Where he comes in to save the day.
I am $1 million in debt. I'm going to lose my bar. I'm going to lose my restaurant. I have no customers. Oh, okay. Well, hey, you're doing this, and this very, very wrong. Okay. First off, who are you?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? Bish, I'm the person you called because you are losing everything. Like,
I watched.
Hey, please come fix Suicide Squad, but don't actually change anything. Just,
no, we still need Will Smith.
We want to
Just-
do everything the same, but make
Just
it.
your name is
But
going
give
to
us-
actually make us money.
They brought back the best characters.
Give us reviews.
They brought back the best actors from that movie. Because Margot Robbie's coming back as Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And Jack Courtney is coming back as Captain Boomerang, which was legitimately one of my favorite parts of that movie. He was so funny. And that's all you need.
I mean, it really is.
I would like to see Will Smith as Deadshot again because I thought he did what he could. He Will Smith the shit out of that movie as best as he could. You said earlier that you've always had this DC #1, but Marvel, you're questioning your allegiance. It's always been Marvel only because of the X-Men. The X-Men will always put Marvel ahead for me. So whenever they dropped X-Men,
In mine is
Middle fingers.
It's Batman. Like Batman will never not be my favorite superhero. Batman will never not be like the animated series will never not be amazing.
coincidentally, during that time period, there was another, I don't think it was as good, but there was another great animated superhero show called X-Men. Those two were Batman was better.
It was great.
Batman was better, but they were both so much fun.
And you also have that long running like I have someone that I can point to and be like, that is Batman. Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy has been Batman so long and so perfectly that no other superhero has that. There is not a one truly iconic voice actor.
Oh, voice actor, okay. What about actor?
I know. I mean, because I feel like you're going to say Hugh Jackman.
No.
Who are you going to say? Because, like, again, no. And Hugh Jackman is great as Wolverine, but I never really cared about Wolverine in the way that, like,
Kevin
I connected
Conroy
with
made
Batman.
you care about Batman.
Yeah.
Plus, Batman's never had a. He's had bad films. So I was gonna say he's never had a bad actor portray him, but there have been bad versions of Batman. The Batman and Robin Batman is terrible.
Yeah, like George Clooney, perfect Bruce Wayne.
Great actor.
Terrible Batman.
Yeah, Val Kilmer was good.
And that's one of the things that I feel like we've talked about either on the show or like not, but it's like there have been actors. It felt like Ben Affleck was the first one who could be
both
perfect Bruce Wayne and perfect and great Batman.
Well, see, I thought that
because
about
so far
Christian
we've only
Bale.
really gotten one or the other.
I thought Christian Bale could be perfect at both, and I thought in the Batman Begins he was, but then
he got really gravelly.
The growling never it bothered me so much.
His Batman voice was off, and we never got enough of him as Bruce Wayne.
Right.
To really be able to
It was like that show. Did you ever watch The Batman TV show? It was kind of like that. There was so much Batman and so little Bruce Wayne.
And well, so that my problem with that one, if this is the one that I'm thinking of, is it bugged me that literally everyone was a kung fu master.
Karate Joker and Karate Penguin.
Karate Penguin specifically, like that really bugged me.
He's laughing because just the thought of it makes me laugh. There's only been one. Oh god, we're getting on a Batman tangent here. This is the show. It's random. There's only been one Penguin that's ever been good.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Like
animated series Penguin.
He was good.
To be fair, I haven't seen it, but I have heard nothing but amazing things from Robin Lord Taylor as Penguin in Gotham. Granted, they took that character in a completely different direction, but at the same time, like you need that sometimes. Like,
well, that's part of the reason why I want to watch Gotham. Like, I wanted to watch Gotham, but I've always heard so many horror stories about it that I like. Everyone tells me like, "Oh, it gets really good later on," but I got to go through the beginning.
See, and that's the thing is, it's like I keep hearing like, "No, if you power through and like
I
maybe if I can
power through."
Yeah, I want to power through.
Yeah, it's like someone talking about a game. It's like, well, after the first 10 hours, it gets great, and I'm like, "Sir, you got like 30, 45 minutes."
Right.
And I'm just like, nope.
There's so many MMOs where it says like, well, you get through once you get to like level 50, the game gets fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
hit level cap, and that's when the game really starts. Like, no, the game starts when I put the disc in.
You find that the game's really got an ass on it eventually. But yeah, Danny DeVito is so iconic as the Penguin. I can't accept anyone else as the Penguin.
Danny DeVito's just iconic.
He is. He's a national treasure.
I'm just picturing Danny DeVito doing the iconic pose.
There was something I saw where someone posted like a drawing of it was a woman, and then in the mirror was Danny DeVito, and it was just like, this is how women feel when they look in the mirror. And they're like, why do you see Danny DeVito?
Because you should know that you're beautiful.
Yes.
That's why.
I know. When he went to Bernie Sanders' rally or whatever, and like put the stool down and got up and talked at the podium. Oh my god, he's great. And in fact, the more that I think about it, and I don't want to talk about Batman all show, but we only have 20 minutes left, so let's just go for it.
Wow.
Oh no, there's a couple things that. Well, no. Okay, so I feel bad for Dalton because he mentioned that he mentioned that he was going to try to be here tonight because he wanted to try to do tonight because if we were going to talk about other,
I wish he had been here.
Comic-Con stuff that we didn't cover. But I know the boy's heart is about to explode because he wants to talk about all the action figures that got announced.
I kept up with some of them
because
he's a good source.
So I gave him I put in the notes for PW tomorrow. There is a segment of San Diego Comic-Con announcements, which includes so he can talk about all the action figures for WWE at least.
I did see. Was there an action figure that was? Is it a Marvel Legends? It looked like Cyclops, but with the jacket on.
Yes,
must have that.
That is a part. Well, it's part of a 3-pack.
Son of a bitch. Who's the other two?
And it's like $70.
Depending on who the other two is, I might do it. So.
I'll get it pulled up because he sent me, which I'm gonna have to scroll through so friggin' much because he was just constantly sending me, pictures. He's like, "Sorry, this is your day," and I was like, "I'm at work. I'm just gonna go scroll through and look at them." So the 3-pack is Jean Grey, Marvel's Cyclops, and Wolverine, but it's all like the X-Men animated. It's all the like 90s cartoon
I will
costumes.
Probably try to buy that because I'm a big fan of any 90s X-Men design, especially. To me, those are the Jim Lee, like those are the most iconic X-Men designs for me.
So I think what your best bet would be, because I think this is one that he said he pre-ordered at GameStop.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would probably be your best bet, other than trying to like find it in the wild.
No, I'm gonna pre-order because I found there are some things that you don't take chances on.
Because I pre-ordered the entire wave of the Batman versus Ninja Turtles figures from. I pre-ordered, which those are GameStop exclusive, so store exclusives. So you had no choice. Yeah,
I think the one
also
that
really
I
nice that I can just put money down and constantly pay it off before they come out.
Wasn't the Transformer that I got? Wasn't that also a GameStop exclusive?
You pre-ordered it through GameStop.
I think it was exclusive. I got the it's the Ecto 1 Ghostbuster Transformer. It's Ghostbusters Transformers crossover, but I'm too scared to take it out of the box, so it's just the Ecto 1.
Yeah. That's all you need, though.
Because I'm a coward.
That's all you need.
I mean, I want to see it in this Transformer version.
Come to the side. There's no reason to... They're safe in the box.
Oh, I don't open my toys.
They're preserved in the box.
No. I don't open them. I never open my action figures at all. Very few have I opened. And the ones I opened, I regretted. Mm-hmm. The rest are all safe.
Because, like, I mean, it's one of the things that Barry did awesome. Of it was he would, like, especially with, like, WWE Elites, he'd buy one for his son to play with, and then he would buy one for him that stayed in the box.
It's smart.
So he got the best of both worlds, and that he got the collector there. he got to collect, and then he also had the one that, out of the box, see what it can do, and then...
Well, me and Allie and Lindsay were talking about
conversation always reminds me of the SNL Star Wars skit.
Yes.
Where he goes, I buy 3. 1 to keep in the box, 1 to open, and 1 just in case.
And then I always think of the kid that says, does your wife like collecting toys too? And then it just gets really sad and they play the sad music. So what else from San Diego did you want to talk about? Because I think I just shot my load.
That's
a bad way to talk about that.
The big one was, and it infuriates me, is friggin' NECA continuing to pump out these amazing Ninja Turtle figures. Have you seen these?
Which ones is this one?
Okay,
are you not talking about the Turtles in Time? We talked about the Turtles in Time.
So
ones.
So they're doing the Turtles in Time one that I actually am not a huge fan of.
Except
the Shredder is amazing
and Slash.
Slash is also super
badass.
cool. Slash also looks super cool. But the Turtles themselves, like the Leonardo and the Donatello,
they look derpy.
Their faces look weird.
Yeah,
which is a bummer because I love Donatello. But at the same time, I'm fine that I'm not in love with these figures, so I don't have to spend
money.
Yeah, I don't have to spend $40 on each of them because if these are single packs, they're probably gonna be super expensive.
Yeah.
Instead, all I have to do is drop a ridiculous amount of money on these Target exclusive 2-packs.
Oh, and Target's the worst to find exclusives for.
Yes, they are.
So
because you really can't pre-order much.
No, you can't because I tried and they won't let me. So
You
Dalton and I, after a PWE one night, he's like, hey, Target has been getting another round of those figures. Do you want to go and try to find because they announced they already released one wave, and it was the 4 turtles, and they were each paired with it was Leonardo and Shredder, I believe. It was Donatello.
I'm looking at that one right now, actually. Yeah.
Donatello and Krang, and then Mikey and Raph both came with foot soldiers.
Are these the ones based on the 90s show?
Based
or
on
the 80s show?
Yeah, the 80s cartoon. And they're awesome. So I found those, and I'm super excited. And then these blowhards at NECA come out and like, hey, wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. My friend Tyler out in Kansas City sent me a link a month or two ago. Like, hey, they're doing a Bebop and Rocksteady 2-pack. All right, well, gotta have that one.
Yeah.
And then Comic-Con happens, and they announce that not only are they redoing the Turtles paired together with different coloring, because in the first few episodes of the first season, their color of the Turtles are different than the later seasons.
Oh boy.
And, yeah, so now they're the brighter green instead of the more muted, darker greens. So they're doing those, and I haven't decided if I'm going to get them, but it's one of those things if all 4 are there and I can afford to pull it out of my savings account because F my future.
Yeah. That's Future Ace's problem.
Exactly. I'm probably not going to have the strength to not buy them, but they also announced 80s cartoon Leatherhead, 80s cartoon Metalhead.
Oh, that one I want.
Yeah.
Metalhead was one of my favorites, especially the 80s version.
And then they're doing another, they're doing a couple different 2-packs of foot soldiers just for extras, and they have different heads and weapons and stuff, which those I don't really care about. I don't need those. But the Metalhead, the Leatherhead, and the Bebop and Rocksteady has to have.
I hate that the toys now have gotten so good. Mm-hmm. Because whenever I go to Walmart and we look, you see the new Ninja Turtles toys based on the new shows, or even the Nickelodeon ones, which I really like the Nickelodeon series, but whenever I would see the toys, I didn't feel the need to buy them. Yet then you see these perfectly crafted, literally grabbing you by the youth and pulling you up and saying, you need me, and you can't help but buy them. I spend so much money on stuff like that, and I don't know how Dalton survives. I literally don't know how
rich.
Dalton. He is.
Because he's rich.
He's got his own house.
I told him that. I was like, And then he always does the things I don't know if I need to. And it's you can afford it. Which, in all seriousness, good. Yes, don't spend all of your money on this ridiculous stuff. Don't go crazy into credit card debt.
Yeah. Like your boy. Yeah.
But I want some. I want small. Which is why I'm very glad that I have been able to fight the demon. Because did I tell you how dangerously close I got to collecting the Marvel Legends too? Or starting a collection of those?
Of all Marvel Legends?
No. Not all of them, but it would have gotten bad pretty quick. So I went to Walgreens one night for medicine because I wasn't feeling good, or Audra wasn't feeling
this is
good.
bad because you already weren't in a good state of mind.
Right. Well, potentially. Or I was just picking something up for Audra. So, but I always anytime I go to any store that has a toy aisle, I look.
Yeah.
Because I have to.
Because you're an adult.
So and Walgreens has the little piddly toy section, but they get exclusive stuff. And one of their exclusive Marvel Legends that they had was Infamous Iron Man, which is Dr. Doom. It's Victor Von Doom as Iron Man. When Iron Man was in the coma after Civil War II, there were 2 people that picked up the Iron Man mantle. Riri Williams as Ironheart, and then Doom, who, through his own motivations, decided, I will be Iron Man.
I just have to bring up for our fans that have been with the show for a long, long time. You know how much joy I get out of hearing Jesse say Riri Williams? Because it's not the way it's a Riri. Like a free weary.
Oh, Jesus. But I love that run. I really, really love that comic. It is one of my favorite Doom moments of the reveal of why he is decided to be Iron Man. I love it. So I was I could get that. But no, there's no point. I don't want to. I'm not going to start a collection.
I'm gonna look it up because I want to see what it looks like.
It's just his Infamous Iron Man outfit. It's nothing. It's not a particularly great figure, but it is a Walgreens exclusive. And I was exclusives. That means it could be hard to find, but it's here. So I can't afford not to get it. Oh look, they also have a Malekith, who is a big deal in the comics now with the War of the Realms going on, and it's a comic one. It's not like the movie one. And I've always liked Malekith as a character. I think he's super interesting. I didn't think he was great in Thor 2, which bummed me out. But
I don't even remember him. That's why I said I need to go back and watch those movies again. Also, am I the only one that thinks infamous Iron Man looks exactly like Cade Six from Destiny?
Yes, because no one knows who that is.
It's the robot,
No, yeah,
voiced by Nathan Fillion. Oh, okay. No, it looks exactly like him. It's scary. He's got the hood and everything.
But
Can't unsee it.
he doesn't have the unicorn horn, though.
He doesn't. And I hate him for that.
But I was like, oh, well, they also have Malekith. I like Malekith. I'll grab him, too. It would make a lot of sense to have a Malekith action figure, but not a Thor action figure.
Yeah, it's just paltry.
Well, Thor's not even my favorite Avenger. So I would want to get like that Captain America one that Dalton has that has the thing behind the shield. Like, I would want that one too. And then like I could probably fill out like get a Hulk and an Iron Man. And have they made a Hawkeye? I'd want a Hawkeye. And that's the thought process because I am mentally unwell. And I was like, no, what am I doing? These are $20 a pop. No. So I didn't do it. I've stayed strong. Jesse couldn't get me back into Magic. I'm not getting into these, but now these NECA figures are.
Remember when we almost bought the Technodrome? When we were literally trying to think of how. You bought the Technodrome, didn't you?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yes, I bought the Mega Bloks Technodrome. No, I have not put it together, but because like I don't have anywhere to display it now. It's one of those things where it's like that will be something that I do whenever like me and Audra. Well, when me and Audra get an apartment, and like I can actually have somewhere to.
That's called the centerpiece of your table.
No,
is the Technodrome.
It will be behind glass. No one will be able to look at it. It's going to be in the.
Audra has a cat.
It's going to be in the room that the cats aren't allowed in.
Or just look at it. Awesome.
Because the box itself is cool, and it's in the box.
It's so big.
It is so big.
It's so when Toys R Us was going out of business, I desperately wanted to find one. Like, but of course I wouldn't. I'm like, who's gonna leave a damn Technodrome behind?
It also wouldn't have been on sale because like the Lego stuff, like that stuff never.
You just said Mega Bloks.
Well, it was Mega Bloks. I don't know if those went on sale, but I got it on sale. But I did because it was normally $250.
Yeah.
And I got it for $100. And then we went up to the toy fair up in St. Louis. Dalton and I did one weekend. The one where he spent like he wanted to go to see all the cool stuff. I dropped like $70. He literally spent $2 on a loose Kofi Kingston Elite.
Wow.
And I spent a bunch of money on the rest of that Mega Bloks set.
And you feel bad for Dalton. No one should ever feel bad for Dalton.
I'm trying to send him a Facebook message, just like request money. just pay me to be your friend.
The difference in what he spent versus
Dalton's
what
listening to this. Although he's doing me a solid because he's going up to Villainous Grounds to pick up our Jesse and I's the first issue of House of X.
Oh, the
is
new
coming
one?
out tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
this is the Hickman. He's like totally relaunching the X-Men in the Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to see how that goes. You'll have to tell me.
I am also very, very curious.
I might pick up a copy of that. I have so many comics on back order though.
I was gonna say
I never get to go.
You should send them a message and be like, "Hey."
No, I don't want to bother them anymore with comics because I have such a pile.
Literally.
Because and they're mostly Lindsay messaged me the other day. She's like, "You have a huge backlog." I'm like, "I know," because I never get to go up there anymore.
Yeah.
And since she doesn't work there anymore, I never go to Perryville.
Yeah.
And she said it's mostly James Bond comics, which James Bond comics are cool, but I don't feel the need to get them immediately.
Right.
Godzilla, yes. Dark Souls, yes. James Bond, I can hold off on. We only have a couple minutes left. And before we get out of here, Allie, I want to bring you into the conversation.
Okay.
So I want you to tell us what you've been watching lately on television.
What have I been watching lately on television? I've been watching Queer Eye and RuPaul's Drag Race.
She has.
Queer Eye's so good.
I didn't know
Have
Queer
you
Eye was
watched
going to
any
be...
of the new?
Nope. I haven't even seen all of the first season because emotionally I can't.
The second and third season aren't as emotional as the first season, but this new season.
Are they already up to 4?
Yes.
Did it just re-debut like last year?
Last week? They're going through seasons like porn movies.
And they're on the 4th season. The first 2 seasons were in Georgia. The 3 and 4 were in like Kansas City area.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because I remember they were doing one in Kansas City.
The first episode of this season, they actually go back to Jonathan's hometown in Quincy, Illinois, and he's like, tearing up, going, "This is where I used to do this." And you just hear, I think Anthony goes, "What's Casey's General Store?" He just goes, "That is the best drive-through pizza. That is the best pizza."
It's so good. Not the show.
It is.
The pizza.
The show is so good.
Casey's is great gas station pizza.
Oh, but I love it. After
really-
we, and I'm gonna get back to your show in a second. So I like hearing you get excited about things. It makes me happy. But after we played D&D, well, Deadlands, right?
Yeah.
With Hunter and Sarah and Jesse. That night I was like, I want a Casey's Pizza for dinner now. So we actually went and got Casey's Pizza for dinner, and I'm like, I forgot how good this pizza was, man.
Yeah.
So tasty. $11 pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Allie, you never told me Queer Eye was so gay.
It's called Queer Eye.
For the straight guy.
No,
I guess
not
now-
this
well, yeah,
one.
now
Yeah.
it's now
This
it's
one's
just Queer Eye.
Eye.
She didn't even know. I don't think you didn't even know that there was a Queer Eye for the straight
No,
guy
I
originally.
did.
You? Oh, okay.
I did.
Did you guys see the? Okay, so because I haven't seen enough of it, I don't know all their names.
Uh-huh.
But the one with the long hair,
Jonathan.
so he did a pretty long video with David Letterman.
Was it a part of the show? My guest needs no introduction, or is this something
I
separate?
don't know what it was, but it was on YouTube. I thought
He does a lot of interviews.
I thought I
people.
sent it to you, but I might not have. But this has been a few weeks ago. But it was him, it's him, kind of trimming up his hair and styling his mustache,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty jokey. And David does not seem to be super on board with anything that's happening.
Oh, I think that's just David.
Like he,
that's just David.
No, yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
mean because it's David Letterman.
Yeah.
But he even mentions if you touch the beard, I kill you.
Does he still have that giant beard?
Yeah.
Oh, he needs to lose that.
And that was
I
that's
don't
when
like
he was
it.
like, no, just let me trim
John-
it. Let me trim it.
John's like,
Um,
no, we need to take care of this baby. No.
But it actually they started talking about the because I think it was during the it wasn't too long ago because it was the Stonewall anniversary because they were talking about the Stonewall they mentioned the Stonewall riots and it went and the tone kind of shifted and it was I was at work when I think I was kind of watching some of it but it was really good.
I believe it.
I also saw a clip of David Letterman where he was getting dressed by Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, and
He should
Yeah.
he should have because another one, Tan, who's the
is he the tan one? Does that joke not go over?
He's from he's Pakistani, so
God damn it! I immediately go back to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then we need a writer. Who are you Indian? You look like you could be Indian. Pakistan. Oh, okay, that's close to.
I'm more of a
But-
big picture guy.
Yeah. I don't write.
but Tan now has a YouTube show that is kind of through Netflix. Netflix has a kind of YouTube channel thing where it's called Dressing Funny, and so because he's the fashion guy on the show, and so he with SNL did Pete Davidson had Tan come on. Pete Davidson did another one for this. He also had I'm blanking on. He had Tina Fey and Rachel.
Dratch.
Yes, on
Maddow.
Dratch.
Okay.
And they would leave the room and Tina Fey would just start talking to the camera. We have found 2 dead bodies. And just saying things, and Tan would walk out and be like, what are you doing?
I just sent that it's like a 10-minute video or 9 minutes of David Letterman and Jonathan. I put it in the
Jonathan, yeah, I see
PW
it.
chat.
Dalton's gonna be so confused.
That's fine. He'll listen to this and figure it
But-
out. No one if he's like, what is that? Don't respond. Just wait for him to listen to this.
But
Because I wanted you
Jonathan's
both
my
to see it.
favorite. John,
He's-
just my
He's the
favorite.
long hair guy.
Yeah.
He's probably actually I don't like him as much.
Why?
I don't know the guy. I don't know any of their names.
Okay, describe.
But they're handsome,
Okay, that's
Um,
all of
Narrows
them.
it down.
darker skin, little goatee, dresses, shorter hair. Oh, son of a bitch! I'm just gonna look a picture of him up
Okay, I like Jonathan.
because I feel like
and
no matter what I say,
and
it's
Bobby.
gonna be wrong.
I like all of them.
he's
hard
the
to
he's the
choose.
one. Okay, he was the one in the Taylor Swift video that wasn't with the group.
Tan.
Yeah, Tan. Yeah, that's him. Tan. I like Tan. He's my favorite.
He's
By the way,
cool.
if you're curious, it's Anton Porowski, Jonathan.
Anthony.
Anthony. What did I say?
Anthony.
Anthony Porowski, Jonathan Van Ness, Karamo
Karamo.
Brown, Tan France, which is also the name of my high school jug band, and Bobby Burke.
I also really like Bobby.
I like Tan because
They're all
He's the
great.
fashion one, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay.
he looks fashionable.
He is very fashionable.
I wish they could do something for me. Holy shit, David Letterman's beard.
Yeah.
It's time to let it go, man.
Hee big boy.
It's time to let it go. the day David Letterman passes away, I will take off from work probably and just stay home. And
No, that's kind of like what I was, because we were talking about, I think when Stan Lee passed, we were talking about like celebrity deaths that would really impact you. And I know for a fact that Kevin Conroy's is going to hurt me bad. Like that one is not one I'm going to take well, because he's such an integral part of my like childhood
yeah.
and growing up and my adulthood. And like,
And now
it has been like 30 years of Kevin Conroy, like just being my favorite character in fiction.
when Patrick Stewart passes away, that'll be, I mean, any of them, anybody, I don't care.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot that are gonna hit.
Why
Like,
does-
and I'm sure there's gonna be more that like some that happen that are gonna hit me harder than I thought. But like,
Harold Ramis.
I know
Probably
exact-
hit me hardest.
mhm.
I almost took the day off from work that day. I watched Ghostbusters like the whole day, which isn't entirely unlike what I do normally, but in this particular case. And then people were posting all the damn pictures of like Slimer leading him up the stairs.
Yeah, all
where do
the
the
fan
stairs
art
go?
and
They go
stuff.
up. Oh no, I'm gonna tear up right now just thinking about it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Anthony Bourdain got me. Like that
Anthony Bourdain.
that was probably one that got me the hardest, especially the circumstances around it.
Yeah.
Especially.
Brittany Murphy. I was
That one was
super
sad.
sad when she died. Anton Yelchin.
Hmm. Yeah, because that was such a freak accident too.
Yeah. And he was like, what? He was in his 20s,
22, I think.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's the show.
We did it.
We did it. We ended on a sad note. Thank
Watch
God.
Queer Eye.
That's
Yes.
one. That's one that like me and Audra will put on like when I go over there, and I'll end up like, all right, I'm gonna go, and then I watch like 2 more episodes. I'm like, crap, it's
It's
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know,
That's
did
what
not
she-
mean
So
to.
good.
That's what she puts on, and then also RuPaul Drag Race. And if you've
Yes.
never watched RuPaul's Drag Race and you're trying to sleep, and all you hear is just like laughing,
Yeah.
and you're wondering what the hell's going on when you wake up, she told me apparently that's his go to commercial thing.
Yeah, because
He
it's
laughs.
it's
So I
an
just
actual
kept
TV
hearing
show.
that, and like it haunted my
Oh,
dream.
Yelchin was 28, I think, because we were the same age, and
Too
he,
damn young
he
is
passed
what he
in
was.
16. Yeah, so 27.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane and then sad lane. We will be back tomorrow with Pro Wrestling Unscripted, where we'll talk about that Raw reunion show that
Happened.
it happened. My enjoyment of wrestling is probably at an all-time low in my life right now, and I hate that. I don't care at all about like Raw reunion, and normally I would get excited about that because I'm that guy that loves seeing the retro acts come out because I loved them so much growing up. But at this point, maybe it's because I've worked in the business now for going on 3 years, or maybe I'm just fed up with like the pushing older stars at the cost of new stars. I don't know, something about it. I wasn't excited. I did read about it and I watched the best of clip, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which was it was just there. Ratings were at an high though, not an all time high, but they were up for this moment. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Also wanted to talk about today, and I will talk about it tomorrow because it's kind of more involved with action. We talk about other sports on PW sometimes. The boxer that passed away over the weekend, I forget his name. It's a foreign name, so I practiced it because I wanted to get it right, and I've forgotten exactly how to say it, so I'm not going to try it. We'll save it for tomorrow. But he died after his fight. They called the match in the bout in the 11th round. His trainer just called the match off. He's like, "You can't do this. You're taking too many shots." And as they're taking him out, he starts getting wobbly. They have to help him out. They put him on a gurney. He throws up and passes out, and he died from they had to do brain surgery on him immediately, and he passed away. Very sad. We'll talk about that more tomorrow too. So until then, yeah, sorry about the sad ending. It was a fun show. We'll see you on PW tomorrow. Yeah, that's all. Good night.